It's a very important issue.
1 year of asking the tough
When
questions.
16 is not enough, is 13 enough?
Lead Story with George Davis is celebrating 1 year of delivering the truth day after day. And we are just getting started.
Let's start the show.
If you truly don't have faith in me, then I promise you it's over. I'm going to put an end to this nonsense once and for all.
I will not rest until that girl is dead. I'm still going to kill her tonight, no matter what.
Here is your court notice.
Who's the letter from?
Sagar just sent me a notice to get Krishna's custody.
Ganga.
Brought to you by
Hyundai or Hyundai.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at Noon this Friday, May 9, 2025. I'm Courtney Lewis. Diplomatic security officers employed by Hawkeye Electronic Security Company Limited, assigned to the British High Commission, staged a protest on Thursday outside the company's Belmont Road office for better wages. General Secretary of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, UCASE, John Levy, explained that the workers are frustrated with the long negotiation process.
We have been at the negotiating table now going almost a year, and no reasonable offer has been put on the table, while the cost of living continue to increase and the difficulties and the challenges facing the security officers continue to mount. And we are saying to the company that it is time now for them to put some reasonable proposals on the table that we can take back to the workers for consideration. Where we are at now is not a point where we believe we can go and share that with the workers, because it does not properly deal with the impact of cost of living inflation, whichever way you want to treat those challenges. And we think that it is time now, going a year, that the company ought to be more reasonable. And if they have to go back and talk to the British High Commission, then we suggest that they do so.
2 men were fatally shot and 2 illegal firearms seized during a police operation in Pell River, Hanover on Thursday morning. Reports from the Hanover police indicate that the incident stemmed from a confrontation with armed kidnappers who were reportedly holding a woman hostage at a house in the community. According to the Lucy police, officers received intelligence that a female had been kidnapped by armed men and was being held at the location. When law enforcement approached the house, they were met with heavy gunfire. The police returned fire, and during the exchange, 2 unidentified men were shot and killed. 2 illegal firearms and several rounds of ammunition were recovered from the scene. Director of Complaints at Indicom, Errol Chatou, confirmed that investigators visited and processed the scene. He stated that a full report is not yet available, but investigations are underway. Another educator is weighing in on the newly passed Jamaica Teaching Council bill. The president of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, JAPS, Mr. Linvern Wright, says while he supports the bill, action must also be taken to improve school funding and establish standards for school boards. He notes school management is sometimes influenced by politics rather than best interests.
My call has always been that we need to fund education properly. Teachers operate within a context where if they don't have funding, it can affect their competence, it can affect their commitment, it can affect the respectability of the job they do. One of the other things is that the infrastructure in many schools, horrible. You don't want to just deal with the regulations, you want to also deal now with the spaces with which teachers work. And the spaces in which teachers work in Jamaica, highly problematic. We have to take care of that. One of the other things I think we have to pay some attention to are boards of management. we cannot continue to have boards of management where the board chairmen are operating at a level, it is not even just intellectually low, it's intellectually barren. And when you're talking about the fact that, and I'm not saying all chairmen are like that, but we have got to get to a point where we are not afraid of these political representatives. And we have got to say to them, boards of management are places where decisions are made about children and education. It cannot be a playground for political loyalty to be rewarded.
A new pope was chosen on Thursday. He's 69-year-old Robert Francis Prevost. He's become the 267th successor to the throne of St. Peter and will take the name Pope Leo XIV. Speaking on CVM's lead story, Reverend Peter Esbute expressed surprise at how swiftly the selection was made.
I said, really? Because we know that Pope Francis appointed dozens of new cardinals from all over the world who wouldn't be expected to know each other. And therefore, when you're having a conclave to elect a pope, probably many would not have known the different candidates because they just recently made cardinals.
Yes.
So when I was called today and told that on the third ballot or the fourth ballot, whatever it was, the Pope had been, I was surprised. I genuinely was surprised. Pleasantly surprised, of course, because it could have taken a week.
It could have.
But it didn't. So apparently, you know, they have daily meetings in the 10 days or so before the conclave, where different different cardinals say what they think the problems of the church are and how they might solve them. So obviously, Cardinal Prevost put forward a good analysis of what the problems were and good suggestions for how he might handle it. And of course, it's really the Holy Spirit that guides the votes of the men. And it happened so quickly. I'm quite frankly surprised at the speed with which the election took place.
The hardware and lumber group known as H&L has unveiled new concrete modular houses. While speaking with CVM News on Wednesday, the Chief Category Officer at H&L, Patrick Chambers, said these houses will give more Jamaicans a shot at becoming homeowners.
We launched it to actually support Jamaica, trying to get the underserved house, because we have apparently about 100,000 deficit in housing, and while we don't proceed to support all of those, we want to give the opportunity to support at least some of them. So we're in the unit, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, is just under 1,000 square foot, and for all of the equipment, all of what you can see sells for $8.9 million. That doesn't include tax, it doesn't include labor, or the foundation. But with the foundation, for this particular house and the labor, maybe another $4.5 million will give you something that will probably sell on the market for in excess of $30 million.
The Jamaica Auto Show is set to be the island's largest automotive exhibition to date, uniting over 26 auto brands and more than 35 vendors under one roof. According to show director Melissa Tulloch, the event, to be held at the National Arena and in National Indoor Sports Complex from May 10 to 11, promises to be a memorable one.
Wanted all players in the automotive industry in one space. The brands, the financial institutions. We have over 35 vendors, by the way. Products, services, supplies, all supporting the automotive industry. There's entertainment, it's family friendly, there's something for kids as well. So, and we know that it's on Mother's Day on Sunday. So special, okay, I did the run-off show, let me be real. I did the run-off show last night. What we're saying is no joke. Prizes, surprises, major giveaways.
Major sponsor Scotiabank says it's going full throttle on exclusive financing offers, aiming to redefine auto loan support in tandem with the massive event.
As a general course of action, we offer the best financial terms and conditions all of our financial products, right? In general, but specifically for auto loans, we're going to be turning it up a notch. In general, you know, we're very competitive. I think we're leading in the market in auto loans right now. But for this event, we're going all out. It's like we're starting from scratch. We're like saying, look, it's day one. We're going to grow with this event, and of course, grow with our partners. I know how it is with our culture. Jamaican love cars, right?
Yeah.
Stay with us for our discussion segment up next.
What do these people know that you don't know? They understand how listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange can improve the profitability of their company. They know the potential for increasing the company's capital, the governance requirements, the tax responsibilities, the ownership implications, and the procedures for listing. They have the knowledge to make an informed decision on whether or not to go public. Knowledge is power. If you don't know, you can't act. Begin a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange to gain the information you need to make a decision.
I'm Stafford Burrows.
I'm Marilyn Burrows.
My name is Hugh Graham.
I'm John Mafood.
My name is Derek Cottrell, and we are listed on the Jamaica Junior Stock Exchange.
Give us a call today at 876-967-3271 to begin your transformation through conversation. We want to see your company listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
You will always keep us vibing. Jamaican quality for sure. First thing when I wake up, pour up my bulk syrup. Pure water, me can't get enough. Feeling the love in the air. On the beach with my ginger beer. I'll do a low on cash. Still can't go buy one splash. Squash, load, catch up, road. Pure, have you ready for the road?
Pure products, quality for sure.
Welcome back. It's time now for a discussion segment. Authorities are still searching for an ocelot that escaped during processing at the port in Black River, St. Elizabeth following an intercepted smuggling attempt off Jamaica's south coast. The incident has heightened concerns about the trafficking of exotic animals into the country and potential risks to public safety and biodiversity. Joining us to weigh in are Ricardo Miller, Environmental Coordinator at the National Environment Planning Agency, NEPA, and Joey Brown from the Hope Zoo Preservation Foundation. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning. Thank you.
Hi, afternoon. Thanks.
So, first up, and this question is for you, Mr. Brown. What are some of the distinguishing characteristics of this loose ocelot, and are efforts underway to capture it?
So the ocelot, it is a small exotic cat, and it has similar characteristics and patterns of kind of like a jaguar. They're sometimes even called mini jaguars because, they're about the size even of a domestic cat. Even the biggest ones don't get much larger than 30 pounds. But they have a really pretty distinguishing coat, with those spots and that nice kind of felt look to it. So, the best kind of thing is like a mini jaguar kind of visual to it. But definitely much smaller in size.
So, what about the efforts to capture it?
I'll let Mr. Miller comment on that. But I know, there was some initial efforts down there when the animals first got offloaded, and I think from what I've heard so far, there's a good chance that possibly it's not on land or so, and it may have fallen off a boat or something. So, but there will be, I guess, a good idea to keep an eye out for it.
Oh.
But these are really small. Like I said, small exotic cats. They are nocturnal, so they're usually more active at nighttime, and they hide a lot during the day. But I'll let Mr. Miller comment on a lot of the other stuff.
Okay, but still with you, Mr. Brown. Where is this species native to in the region?
So they actually have quite a large range, from, kind of all the way down almost Argentina, South America, all the way up through Central America, Mexico, and there's even some that have kind of a tip of a range in the southern tips of Texas. So, a large range from South America, Central America, Mexico, everywhere from grasslands and woodlands, but they definitely are more kind of common and more at home in like a tropical forest, very dense bush. These are they're typical cats, very good climbers. They're good in the trees, well camouflaged, and your typical kind of jungle predator, feline predator.
All right, don't go away. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with our discussion segment in a moment.
The Time is brought to you by Ford Territory.
We love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are made of Jamaica.
Recycling partners of Jamaica. Yeah, we got to make a change, and we have to do it now, can't wait for later. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that we'll be safer than in the gullies and in the drains. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, yeah, the place of it clean. PET, that up polyethylene, HDPE, buckle up get screen. Baby to run everybody roping, yeah, we got to go green, you know what I mean. See the sign from the bin, if we drop it in, through car window you flick, that another thing. And we don't want no garbage in this game. No, we handle it up, bug them are not the same. So listen up Jamaica, I'm saying it's time to make a change. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that we'll be safer than in the gullies in the every range. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place.
Thanks so much for staying with us. We're still in our discussion segment, and we are talking with Mr. Joey Brown from the Hope Zoo Preservation Foundation and Mr. Ricardo Miller from NEPA. He's the environmental coordinator. Now, Mr. Brown, do we know if this loose ocelot is female?
No, we do not. So I think all we know right now kind of is that it was a kitten, only probably 1 or 2 months old. So not a very small young kitten ocelot. So we don't know the sex, but at that age they are pretty still dependent on mom and dad. So it's probably not super. If it is that large, it's not super mobile. It's not an adult ocelot cat that's out on their own. So it would be a young kitten, kind of fairly helpless at this point as well.
We understand that this is a protected species, might be even considered endangered in the United States, I hear?
Yes, they're definitely a protected species. They're endangered in certain parts of their range. There's some countries where they're of least concern, but they are endangered. They used to be very heavily poached, hunted for their coat, for their skin. And now one of the biggest threats is actually the pet trade, where, a lot of people don't realize how there's a big black market pet trade for these illegal animals that are being trafficked around the world, which is exactly what happened in this case here. And so that's one of their biggest threats in the wild right now. And these poachers will often, since it's quite difficult to get adults, what often is they find a kitten and then that is taken unfortunately from the mom at a very young age, and that's how they're poached at such a young age.
We're going to hear from Mr. Miller now. Now, are there any signs that there's an increase of trafficking of exotic animals in Jamaica? Mr. Miller, we'd love for you to unmute your
I was
mic.
muted a second, sorry. Sorry, yes, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Yes, there is actually an increased, we've noticed an increase in wildlife trafficking, both intra-island and as well as internationally, both coming into Jamaica and going out of Jamaica, because we do also have a lot of exotic, well, not exotic, but endemic species unique to Jamaica that are, highly sought after by collectors across the world. We can think of our parrots, for example. But in this particular case, where an exotic, cat and birds and monkeys were actually being smuggled into the island. So there's also a market here for it, and we've noticed an increase over the years.